off already. It is gonna be Abbster versus Prowder.
Yeah, to be fair, when I say Sakazuki is a fun deck, I'm talking about OP05 Sakazuki. OP06, when they made Moria, that kind of ruined everything.
Oh yeah, for real. I mean, it
Yeah.
is what it is, but
Ooh.
we're gonna hit into the game already. It is going to be Abbster on the blue yellow Nami versus Prowder on this red black Sabo. What do you know about these two decks in OP13, Kai?
Yeah, well, these are both two decks that really do not want to hit Ima, so they're both happy that they're not hitting Ima. Regarding this matchup, I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be a pretty uncommon matchup to see. I think most people wouldn't be very familiar with it either, but it
Yeah.
is probably some of the key strengths that we want to identify first. Both of these leaders have ways to increase their base power. So Nami with one Don will go up to 7k base,
Yeah.
and Sabo with one Don and an 8 cost character on the board will go up to 6k base.
Yeah, and you have to remember that, because Sabo does need that Dawn on his leader, he is going to be hitting at 7k with his leader once he starts getting his leader effect online. Does also get that stage early on, which is going to be very helpful for him as well. But Sabo's characters just innately are usually 7k base, which with his leader effect become 8, 9, 10k if you play out things like that Stussy. So Nami's leader effect actually doesn't help that much in this matchup. So I can see this starting be a bit scary for Nami as time goes on, but we'll have to see exactly how these two players close out the game, because Nami's not really a deck that's known to be able to close out the game very easily. Ooh.
True, especially without the EBO3 support in the Nami 5 cost, you won't be able to burn as easily. Of course, there is still the 8 cost kid from OP10, which will allow you to burn a life on play,
Yeah,
but currently
and
is a bit too early.
yeah, this is without EB03, so Nami does not have those significant buffs in that 5 cost Nami or that 7 cost Robin at her disposal either. So we're gonna have to actually see what OP13, pure OP13 Nami is capable of.
That's right. And not even that, there's also missing the Shoujo promo, the young girl, a very crucial card for the Nami deck as well. On play, draw one, discard one, and every turn you can attach a Rested Dawn to a Nami that you have as well. And not having that is going to be quite a crucial nerf to the deck. But we're gonna see Abbster here just going for a 6k swing into Sabo's 4k base leader for now, and then play down a Hiyori as well to swap his life. Sabo, though, did start off really, really strong, was able to start with a Battle Betty plus a Revolutionary Army headquarters, so will be able to search quite a bit for Dawn now, will be able to play something like the hack onto the board, develop a 6k body as well as a 8 cost for his leader effect.
Yeah, and I mean, just want to point out that Nami has some really nice stone cards. I don't know what game that's from. It's
It's
a
Riftbound, right?
non-affiliated.
That's
Oh no,
the
it's Rift. I just don't know if I'm allowed to say the IP on this wholesome Christian channel.
Awesome Christian channel. I don't think we've watched enough Sabaudi Showdown. I think there's a lot of non-wholesome content, especially from Renee. But we'll see
Yeah, I remember last time
whether
I
or
was
not
here.
it's true. He's hitting me with the question marks as if this isn't the truth, but it is what it is. We're gonna see a second and a third searcher hit the board for the red black Sabo now for Prowder. And one great thing about the leader Sabo effect as well is that it gives +1 to his entire board, including all of these searchers. That means that all of these searchers are 3k base as well, so they are very easy to turn into relevant attackers in other matchups. Not in this matchup, most likely, where Nami has that 7k
Mm.
base power.
Yeah, these characters are just going to be food for Stussy, essentially. But, if we were playing Bella Betty like we saw the game before, this would have been quite scary. Still, though, this is going to be a much slower matchup. It's going to just be a matter of, is Nami going to be able to play out those 8 cost kids to be able to burn enough life to actually go through for lethal? Or is Sabo going to be able to develop his board big enough and fast enough? He does have that 6 cost Sabo on his board, setting up for that 8 cost dragon later on.
That's true. I think it is going to be a fourth searcher hitting the board now. So really going for a lot of options for him. And it is going to be quite a bit still. He does just have one more Dawn, will go in for a 5k swing, try to force a card out of Abbster, and most likely it is going to be countered out because one of the very common plays for this blue yellow Nami deck is to turn one, set a Okiku Nojo onto the board, onto the top life. And right now, Sabo's at 4 life, so that's not a valid trigger. Pudding hits the board!
Oh, that can mess things up for Sabo for sure. He does have the stage, so he will be able to recover a little bit from that. But this is a very crucial turn to be able to I guess he still has it. I mean, if he can't find that 6 cost Sabo on the next turn, then it will feel a lot weaker for him. But he does have a couple of options at his disposal.
That's true. I mean, he really wants to see 6 cost Sabo on that 6 dawn turn. We're most likely gonna see
Yeah.
him take a life as well. So he will be able to see, I guess, 7, 10 cards total to try and find at least one 6 cost Sabo. Really shuffling it up, really hoping to find that 6 cost Sabo. We're gonna see him draw into his cards for that pudding effect. And now the 6k swing is going to make its way into his face. 3k counter is required, remember.
Yeah. No, but I mean, as Sabo, you're gladly taking this attack now that you don't have that debuff on your leader more. Is finally a 5k leader, and if he gets his leader effect going, is going to become a 6k leader after that. So is not in a bad spot yet. Just going to see if he can manage to find those cards.
Yeah, and it looks like he does have
Yeah.
to tap the stage first. Let's see if he has it. There is the Black Vortex now counted out.
Finds the
There is the
Sabo.
6 cost
Yeah.
Sabo. He found it. He's good.
Yeah, and this Sabo is such a huge body for this leader in particular because it's a 6 cost 7,000 with your Sabo effect will attach a dong to your leader and make himself an 8 cost, which then activates your leader effect, which makes your leader a 6 cost or 6k, which then makes your 6 cost Sabo an 8k, which just is a big cycle of good things in general, and is going to make it much more difficult for Nami to actually break through despite getting this Kikunojo trigger.
That's right. It's everything you want to see in a card. It's got all of the different pieces that you want. It really helps you with everything that you need. There
Ooh,
is a red rock now immediately used to get rid of that 6 cost
yeah.
Sabo. The Kikunojo does make its way onto the board, so we'll have a 6k swing with that. Plus, the leader really wants to start putting in more pressure into the red black Sabo. Here is first going to be the 5k swing.
Yeah, it looks like 5k into leader probably is just going to go for. Oh, he doesn't have a leader, a Dolan as leader though. But I think that he's expecting because the board's power is so little that he doesn't necessarily need to have that Dolan on his leader. Is probably just going to go for 556. Yeah.
Oh, what?
I mean,
Okay, well, it is what it is. We're gonna see the
yeah.
rest of the turn play out. There's the Kikunojo swing now for 6, 2k counter out with that PRB Sabo 2k. And then let's see what else is going to be played.
Yeah. So Blue Yellow Nami's leader effect has two parts of it. You have these card draw with which if life is moved when you have 7 cards less in your hand, you draw 1 card, which is not necessarily reliant on having a Dole on your leader. The part that makes your leader 7k is reliant on having a Dole on your leader. So because Sabo's board right now is just a swarm of 2ks, and assuming that he doesn't play that red 8 cost dragon, he doesn't necessarily need to worry about the amount of damage that could potentially come out because he's not necessarily planning to defend out from a very large number of attacks. So just trying to make as many attacks on the board as possible and keep Sabo's hand and board under control as best as he can with the line of play. He does have that 6 cost Sabo still in his trash though, so if he has the 8 cost dragon, then it may feel like nothing happened the turn before.
It's true, the Black 8 cost dragon is in fact going to be played, despite putting shuffling his entire deck into the his entire hand back into the deck. He did still use the stage several times, so we'll be able to play the 6 cost Sabo from his trash now. The alternate art this time will have that effect as well to put one Don on his leader. This is going to be a 7k swing into that 5k base Nami leader now.
Yep. And this is the thing with Nami is that even if she used her lead effect to go to 7k and counter it out, she still has to use 2 cards in the end to defend it. So it doesn't make a huge difference if she has that one dong on her leader, but getting that one extra attack from putting can end up making a bit of a difference while the leader is still 5k. So small incremental advantages that Nami is going to keep. Don't know exactly where the 7k attack is going, but Sabo trying his best to make his board.
Yeah, I mean, every little bit counts, especially in these rogue decks. You really want to make sure you get every little incremental advantage that you can get.
Yeah.
Now, we'll use the stage. We'll look for another Revel Army type card. Misses!
Ooh, doesn't see
3-star
it. So
chase?
in a game of inches, that is something for Nami because although she hasn't been able to develop any board besides the cards that she's had to put out for that pudding and also the triggers, is going to have something to work with. And now, if she can, for example, play down that 8 cost kid, for example, you can start to put a lot of pressure on this leader. But if you don't, then the board for Sabo just keeps getting stronger and stronger.
That's right. 6k swing from the Kikunojo, now 6k swing from the leader, free block with that 6 cost Sabo, 8k base body as well. 8 Don is going to be rested, so it does look like the kid is going to make his way onto the board. And there the kid is, useless Captain Mid. In this case, is going to be pretty useful indeed. Gets rid of one of the life of this red black Sabo, but will he be immediately gotten rid of by Stasi? Let's find out.
Yeah, that's going to be
Has
the
he
card here.
done the end of turn draw one discard one?
I didn't see it from the side of my eye. He
Yeah,
may not have. But yeah, another thing of note is that Nami having too many cards in hand wasn't able to get the leader effect draw either. So another one of those things, both these players missing out on a draw that they would have wanted to have.
for sure. And I think it's always good to make sure that you use it. It looks like there is gonna be quite a bit of Dawn rested. No, it's just two. There's not gonna be Stasi this turn. There's a
Yeah.
Koala instead.
Ooh.
We're gonna reduce the power by 3k and we're gonna start trading into this kid instead. The leader, of
Ooh.
course, is going to
Yeah.
be 7k base, so 6k kid is a little bit smaller.
Yeah, and Nami, because she can only increase the power of her leader, the best way to play around that is to just keep going for board. And if you could take out this kid, then she doesn't get the benefit of her leader effect. Does take down the kid very easily with the swing from leader at 8k.
That's true. Now let's
Once again,
see
yeah.
what.
Board state has been reset, and Nami's board just not really getting any bigger, and Sabo's board still with 8 dong, no 7 dong, I believe, at his disposal. Oh no, no less than that, maybe 6 dong left. Um,
Yeah.
does have the potential to keep playing down some pretty solid bodies.
It is his 10 Don turn, I believe, so there is 7 Don to play with. Can play another Sabo, can't play one of the dragons, but I think that's still pretty good. We're gonna see now a swing from this 8 cost Black Dragon into the face of Abbster. Already at 2 life, now going down to 1, is still in quite a bit of danger here. 6 Don now rested. Is it going to be the Sabo blocker? Yes, it is. The secret rare is going to make its way onto the board. 2 cost now added to it as well. Another rested Dawn onto the rested leader just for a little bit of extra post attack damage. And we're gonna see the stage also gonna be turned most likely in case Prowder. Actually, no, he's gonna leave it active because I think he's a little bit traumatized from missing earlier. And second ACOS kid hits the board.
Yeah. So Sabo is now down to 0 life, but he does have 2 blockers on the board, so he does still need to find a way to get through. Nami, let me check their deck lists. Technically, Nami can run an unblockable event, but it would only affect leader, which is that ace event. Seems like he
That's
does
right.
not run it though, so we'll need to just push his way through with the characters that he does have on board. And Sabo is a deck that can defend against that very easily because his blockers are 8k.
Exactly. It is going to be quite a bit of work for him still,
Yeah, still though, low
with
on hand though,
only.
so not impossible.
That's right. It is going to be an option still. He does have quite a bit left in the tank, and there is still so many blockers, not to mention the Waxing Fist 4K counter event that he can use to protect himself from unblockable swing as well. Let's remember that the Nami deck also sometimes runs the Otama from PRB, which can also help him boost a little bit more, but it looks like Abbster's list does not actually run that.
Yeah, and Sabo, I mean, has a very commanding position on the board, but Nami has a lot of cards in hand right now, so I don't necessarily think that he can really go for board or for hand, but it's very tricky to actually go for board as well because you have that very annoying on KO effect from Kikunojo, which makes your lethal further, and also Kid being a 9k and potentially not having another quad at his disposal means it's going to be a lot harder to get rid of that card.
Yes, of course. If there was a Stasi though, I guess that would be able to get rid of it very simply, but I think that that was probably the three card search that he missed earlier, so isn't available. But I see a pretty interesting tech card in the trash already. I think that's called the Love Meteor Strike You can
Yeah.
add a card from your life and then you plus base to your leader.
Yep.
It becomes
Um,
9k base Sabu.
that would be a 9K base Subble. I think that's generally a tech card into things like Green Zoro, which is a very difficult matchup for Red Black Subble. But in this matchup, especially because he's now at 0 life, will not be able to need that or use that effect, so it does get rid of it for the stage. Plays down the red 8 cost dragon, which is going to make a lot of damage on the board. May just be looking to close out the game with the abundance of attacks that he has at his disposal. We'll have to see exactly where his attacks go, because he doesn't necessarily potentially, I mean, he might need to go for a game actually, depending on how he actually manages to deal with this board.
Yeah, I mean, he is gonna still have the two Sabo blockers, so technically he will be able to defend himself from three different attacks, but we're gonna see what is going to be the play still. Only has one card in hand, so yeah, I think he
Yeah,
does have to send lethal here.
exactly. Like if that one card in his hand isn't a +4, which I'm sorry, I didn't see exactly what he searched off of his stage, so this may be public knowledge. Then he may just be in a spot where he's mathematically needs to go for game.
And that is going to be quite a scary position to be in. You don't always want to have to do the Hail Mary, but it is currently the reality for our boy Prowder. Can
I
he
mean,
do it
yeah.
now? Oh, it
No, I mean
looks like
he
he's actually went to clear board.
Yeah, he was successfully able to take out the kid. I thought that with the amount of cards that Nami had in his hand, that surely he wouldn't be able to let that go down. But does let the 8 cost kid die, and now if he could just take out the rest of the active board, reduce the attacks to that Hyodi, Pudding, and Leader, then now maybe if you have the correct cards in your hand, you may be able to defend against the attacks that are on the board.
Yeah,
So I'm surprised that that kid ended up falling, though.
yeah. Maybe, I mean, the blue yellow Nami deck sometimes just has a lot of fake hands, and that could be the case right now. We're gonna see 9k swing into this leader. Is it going to be enough?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, Meteor Strike's tech card for Ema, but it could also work into Green Zora because I believe it's for the turn. But I mean, not a tech card that we saw too much in the East. I don't know too much about Southeast Asia, but
I've
ooh,
never seen that
yeah,
card in the East.
yeah, it's a decent card because it increases your power for the turn, I believe. So it is one of those things that makes things a little bit awkward for some of those annoying matchups. But yeah, I am surprised though because if he, for example, or I believe if Abbster had the counter to be able to defend that kid, he definitely would have. And the fact that he didn't means he probably didn't have the counter, which means that potentially Prowder may have actually just had lethal on the turn before if he went for it, given the fact that Nami ended up not countering out the attacks before. Still, though, maybe just emotionally feels safer to go for board there, but this could have been a quite very pivotal turn. And
Yeah,
yeah, Abster is just going to start with a very big swing to get rid of one of those characters.
it's one of those things where you never know until you know, right? So I guess it makes sense that he didn't try for the lethal there. But we're gonna see what is going to be his remaining options. He will go for a Marco and a Trafalgar Law blocker. We're gonna see a big swing blocked immediately by that 6 cost Sabo as well. Now we're gonna go back to Sabo's turn again, going up to two cards in hand, but not going to be able to take the game very easily with those two pesky blockers on the board. One Don first attached, giving the buff to the board again. Let's see what the swing order is. Another Kikunojo making its way onto the board could be a very scary prospect for the Sabado.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is one of the things because it isn't really a deck like Ima that can just respawn all of your blockers every single turn. Those big attacks to just get rid of one blocker and hoping the opponent doesn't have another one to reestablish onto the board is slowly going to be able to close out this game and just find a little bit of an angle back into this game. So if he doesn't have that extra blocker and doesn't have a way to actually deal with the characters on the board, he will need to find a way to actually close out this game very quickly.
Yeah, but the 9k swing now blocked by the Trafalgar Law blocker. 9k swing now coming in from leader as well. That leaves 7 Don remaining. It is going to be damage taken, no trigger body. There is still the Dragon Swing available for the side of Prowder. He is gonna swing into Koala first, though. That is gonna be another big swing into leader. Leader effect is gonna put Nami up to 7. Is now going for another 3k counter. That is the Nojiko and the Hiyori. Discarded 10k swing will put Abbster at 0 or force him to use this Mako blocker and put him even further away from lethal. It is going to be quite a bit of counter required. 4k is the number that Abbster needs to hit. Is there a Kikunojo? There is not. He is now at 0 life and is going to be at his last chance to find lethal with his remaining board.
Yeah, and in the end, Abbster does have enough damage to actually be able to defend against one of those first attacks. So is able to keep this Marco on the board, and because Abbster wasn't able to develop another blocker onto the board, now a little bit better than it was last turn. Only one blocker left on the board, 2 cards left in hand, but 2 Dong active. We don't know what these things are, but maybe, depending on the way that he spreads out his Dong, he may be able to find his way there.
Yeah, if one of these bodies, if just Pudding was 1k higher or Marco was 1k higher, Abster would have math lethal on the board with 6-10-10. But he's just 1k short. The best he can do right now is 699, 6-9-10, and that just means 1k 4k counter block, and that's going to be not enough to take the game here. So he really just has to gamble 6-9-10 and hope that there's no counter event.
Hmm.
Prowler
I
again
mean,
hasn't been using his stage.
can he play another turn, though, is the thing. It's very tricky to tell in this situation. He may just have to go for lethal with the amount of attacks on the board. I think that he's starting to run out of fuel, so I think he does probably just have to go for it.
Yeah, 6-9-10 is most likely the correct line for him. Anything more than that may be a little bit difficult. There's also the option to go 8-8, eight eight
You
nine.
go 8, 8,
But
9. I
again,
think 8, 8, 9, 8 requires 2. Is that lethal? 8.
uh,
It
he just
may. I mean,
needs two
because he
counter
only has
events.
2
Yeah,
cards. Yeah, so it depends on
yeah,
if he
eight eight
has counter
nine.
events in his hand. But like hypothetically, if he doesn't have, if he only has one counter event, then I think 8, 8, 9 goes through.
That's true. We'll have to see. 8-8-9, 6-9-10.
He needs to
Depends
have.
on the
Yeah.
remainder.
Yeah, but the fact that he didn't use his stage makes me think he may actually have it.
It's quite telling, yeah. Usually
Yeah,
not
but
using
this
that
could
stage
also
means your
be,
hand is really nice.
it could be a massive bluff as well. You never know, because if he does have those 2 counter events in his hand, then he is mathematically safe, I believe. But if any one of those isn't a counter event, then I think that he just loses. So Abster thinking about what's most likely to be the case here, thinking about what's the best option, how can he spread his dong out the best to actually be able to find lethal on this turn, because he really doesn't have another one.
Every turn counts, every move counts. And this is only game one of our best of three. It's going to be quite a bit more that we have to watch through. This is quite a slow matchup, all things considered. The pudding is going to be held on to, is going to be considered as one of the key attackers right now. It's been on the board since the 5 dawn turn. It
Yeah.
might be the one that finishes the game.
Yeah, wait, hold on. Did Renee say that he's going to pay you for this?
Wait, what?
Oh wait, hold
You're
on. Are
getting
we doing
paid?
this for
Are you
free?
getting paid? Wait,
Oh no, I'm not
what?
getting paid. Are you getting
That's
paid?
crazy. I'm
Hold
not
on,
getting
wait.
paid. That's insane. I'm gonna write my manager, which is myself. I'm gonna tell him he sucks at negotiating my appearance fee.
Okay, well, we'll see.
Man,
Let's see how
we're
we've been
singing, we're
locked into a
singing. It's gonna
2 hour
be
game.
the 8.
It's going to be the 8 first. He's. It looks like he's going for it, and
3k counter
yeah.
is the requirement. Is there a
The thing is,
counter event? We are gonna need the waxing fist. It's not.
oh, oh, it's oh no. Wait, so mathematically though,
It's
he
math
has lethal
lethal.
mana. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
because
math
he has
lethal.
to use the Black
Here's the
Vortex.
8.
Only has yeah. Goes for the 8k, then the 9k at leader. He only has 1 card left in hand. It's going to be lethal. The 2k is not going to be enough, and that is going to be game
No.
for Nami in the end, despite such a slow start and never really being
Yeah,
able to establish
Prowder.
board, finding
Yeah,
it in
he's
the end.
just lamenting that 2k that he discarded for fun. That would have been enough to save him here. And wait, there's a proxy on the board. What's this card? I don't know, but we'll find out. But that was very unfortunate, like miss on that search earlier. Because if that was like a 2K still in hand, it would have been huge for Abbster.
Yeah.
Even a 1K or Prowder, sorry, a 1K would have been enough.
Oh, that's actually so huge. Yeah. Unfortunately, in the end, as we talked about, a game of inches, when you're not fighting against Emu, it feels like you can slowly get to that finish line. And in the end, we did see it. Very good showing from Nami, not giving up until the end, despite never really being able to establish board and just pushing through the subtle.
That's true. I mean, it's very Nami to be scrappy and try to find victory from not so great positions with your brain and with technology rather than with superpowers, and somehow manages to take down the chief of staff of the Revolutionary Army in a really good spot now though. So we're gonna see the game two now. I assume Sabo is gonna still be going second because that is his preferred curve. Meanwhile, Nami most likely going to continue with that first curve, looking for some ideal plays as well. Not a lot of options for the deck, honestly, going first. Since you don't have the Searcher, you don't have the Nami, you don't have the Robin. It's very different.
Yeah, for sure. I think, I mean, the fact that Sabo was able to lose going second, though, does make me fear a little bit, but it does feel like there was a bit of luck involved as well. Just a lot of small things coming together. Even the pudding, although it didn't necessarily mess up Sabo's curve, did make him go down in cards in hand. So these small things in the end just were enough for the attacks to barely make it through. The 8K into the leader while there's only 2K left in his hand, just not enough, losing by 1K in the end.
I mean, like you said, game of inches, game of inches. There's a lot of
Yep.
inches that we have to worry about. Wait, uh, anyway, the it is going to be quite a bit of work still for both players in order to make their way into the win for the series. One more game for Abbster, two more for Prowder. One done is going to be a pass for the Nami. Bello Betty is going to be played for the Sabo. Does pick up the 8 cost Black Dragon again. Will allow him to find a character from the trash, play it down. Is there a stage? There is not. There is another Bello Betty looking at the top 5 again, looking for a hack, looking for a Sabo, looking for a stage, and the stage is going to be found.
Yeah, this is the start that you're looking for Subtle. Just get your searches rolling. Unfortunately, isn't going to be the black koala searcher, so won't be able to fill up trash quite yet. But just getting these cards and getting that stage online so that you can start to fill up your trash is going to be really, really nice. So perfectly good start. I believe that Subtle doesn't have any of the nice cards that we have access to in the. I don't know if you actually have access to it in Southeast Asia. The
Yeah,
promo Subtle as well as the forecast koala not at disposal, so won't necessarily have a great forward long play except for potentially hack. But yeah, just looking to get. Oh, interesting. Nami chose. Oh no.
it's
Oh right, Subtle lost, so he gets to choose to go second. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, yeah.
That's right. Hack did get the remove, like didn't lost his spot in the deck to the koala. I think most decks aren't even on the McDonald's Sabo because the koala is good enough and there's not really enough space for another four cost or another brick. But we do have that here in Southeast Asia. So I do have a friend who is playing Red Black Sabo as well. That can be very scary, especially on that even curve. But it looks like most commonly this four on turn is just gonna be just like what we're gonna see last game. It is gonna be more spins, more searchers. He does see a hack, but doesn't have the Dawn for it anymore. Is there gonna be another
Yep.
fourth searcher to hit the board, or is it just gonna be two Dawn onto the leader? It is gonna be another searcher yet again. There's the Garp this time. Does look for the top four for any card. Doesn't have to be a Revel army. So is his only way to find a Stussy. It does not hit it. So is there a fifth? Can we see a fifth searcher on the board? Are we playing red green law?
I mean, he can already shambles next turn most likely. So, thankfully, though, not going to be the way that he's playing. Is just going to end up playing out a 8 cost 8,000 blocker for only 6 dong next turn. Most likely, just the amount of searches that he has been able to pull off this game. So, looking very similar to game one. We'll see how Nami responds now. Rest 4,
Here's the
not the pudding this
Marco.
time
No
though.
pudding. 6K swing into that 4K base leader again. And interestingly, Prowder chose not to attack last turn, even though he could have gotten a body out. sorry, a card out or a life out from Abbster. So pretty interesting. Does still have that one extra Dawn. What is his play against this 6K swing? He does actually counter out with the Waxing
Mm-hmm.
Fist +1. So counting out 6 into 4. That's insane.
Yeah, I think that he may just be afraid of that pudding that seemed to have gotten him the game before, so decides to play around it a little bit better, keeping his hand size a little bit more tame, does have that 6 cost Sabo in his hand, also does fill up his trash with a couple of decent targets for the 8 cost Dragon, potentially, in doing so, but we'll have to see exactly how this is going to play out differently, because the game's already looking quite different.
That's true. Here's the 6 cost Sabo now making its way onto the board. Another 6 cost Sabo is the target of the search and most likely
Yeah.
the target of the stage next turn. There is going to be a 6K swing still at 4 life, so still has the -1K base. So 6K swing into Nami's 5K, now 7K base leader, and that is going to be all she wrote for this turn.
Yep, and because of that stage, as you mentioned, he will be able to get that 6-cost Sabo into his trash to be able to re-summon off of that 8-cost Dragon, so already looking like he's going to have a great curve. If he can just chain that into something really nice the turn after that. We noticed that he didn't have the Susi the game before, was still able to clear the opponent's board, but did mean that he was losing things like 2Ks from his hand in doing so. We'll see exactly how this is going to be a bit different because we already see these as a very good curve going into this next turn.
Exactly.
Yep,
So it is going to be a 7 Dawn turn for Nami. It's just going to be a 5K swing into that 4K race leader again,
yep.
instantly blocked by the Sabo. And that means a 7 Dawn play may be coming down for the Nami. It is going to be the Kozuki Oden from ST22.
Ooh, haven't seen that since EB03. Very nice
Exactly.
card.
Very
Yeah.
easily replaced.
Unfortunately, so it's a great card, but 7 cost Robin was just perfect for this deck. But yeah,
Yeah,
um, is going to play down a body which is guaranteed to not be able to be removed thanks to that effect, essentially. So, unlike the first game, is going to actually have something very good on the board, and if he just has things to be able to bounce back to his hand for that restand, will be really, really nice. So yeah, drops that 6 cost Subble into his hand. 8 cost Dragon is going to resummon the 6 cost Subble, and
that
just
is
both
going to
players
be
making a really big
huge.
board. Yeah,
That's right, 3 cards return to the bottom of Prowder's deck, and the 6 cost Sabo now making its way onto the board, leaving one Betty and one Garb Searcher from his initial 5 Searcher start. We're gonna see a big swing from the leader as well as maybe this 6 cost Sabo as well. 2 Dawn now attached for free. He's still at 4K base only, so will be 4 + 2 + 1, 7K swing with this 2 Dawn attached. No Dawn on the Nami leader though, so this is going to be quite a bit of damage. 7K swing is going to be taken, no trigger, and the Sabo can still swing. The alternate art version is in fact not going to swing though, just going to continue to shore up the defenses for Prowder.
mm, interesting. Decides that he doesn't necessarily need to go for the aggressive angle right now, just needs to slowly out attrition the opponent with the board that he's been able to build up over the past couple of turns. I think that is the advantage of going second. You don't necessarily need to play off of your certain turn. Just play control. You still have 4 life here, thanks to the fact that he's been able to defend some of those early attacks. Doesn't necessarily need to worry about that Olden quite yet, whereas Olden does need to be worried about if he becomes rested, then he can actually become the target of removal.
That's true. So let's see what
Ooh.
is going to be the play. There's a 6 cost Boa from OPO7. Will lock one of the attacks as well as bottom deck 1 cost character on the board.
Yeah.
Chooses to bottom deck the Bello Betty Searcher, in fact, and now will go for a 8K swing with the leader first.
Yeah, it is a very small thing, but getting rid of the Betty is correct there because it is a revolutionary target. So just less things that can potentially go into trash to be able to fund some of those effects, like the 8 cost Dragon. So a nice card. I have really not seen that in 6 cost Nami very much, but is going to be able to prevent a 9,000 attack next turn just by existing.
That's true. It is going to be quite good. And there is going to be the equate swing from the Oden now. It's going to be block +1 to answer with the SEC Sabo. Block +2, actually. And there is also a 4 cost Mako still on the board for
Yeah.
Abbster. So can use that to block and draw even more cards as well. But Sabo is now on 10 Don, which means he has access to that Stussy.
Yeah, but unlike the last game, he doesn't necessarily have an amazing target like that 8-cost kid.
That is also true. He can get rid of
Yeah.
the Oden, but it can. Is the
Yeah, the
Oden
Oden,
protect
if you
himself?
trash 2 cards from your hand, then he protects himself, yeah. So, it
Yeah.
would get 2 cards out of Nami's hand, but it wouldn't necessarily do anything else. So, actually, in this situation, the 2-cost Koala would actually be better, like you played the game before. But the fact that that 8-cost Dragon can't attack, and you would have to rest your blockers to actually hit into that Oden, it's not very easy to actually take out these characters, although he may still have that opportunity in mind.
That's true as
Yeah,
well. Maybe that is gonna be his option later, but just for now, we don't have it right yet.
yeah. I do have to
So
mention that
let's
this
see.
6-cost Subble in his trash looks like Saint Shepard de Jupiter, the parallel, for some reason to me. I look at it in the corner of my eye. I'm like, what is this tech card? And then I realize that it's just a revolutionary.
It's just
Yeah,
Sabo.
gets rid of the
Yeah, it's
Stussy.
just a Sabo alt art. Let's
It
see.
picks
Oh,
up the
that's fine. The
koala. Yeah,
koala. Perfect.
yeah. So this
Exactly
is
what you predicted. Might be the
well.
play here.
We'll see what he does though, because last game he did play down the koala, did get rid of that 8-cost kid, but in the end wasn't able to develop that much of a board alongside of it, just due to the fact that he had to pay so much for it. Does play out the Stussy in
Oh,
the end. See what the target is. Yeah, just gets rid of the
it's the
boa.
boa.
Doesn't want to. Yeah, I think it's much better to just get rid of the guaranteed attack than to force the opponent to trash 2 cards for the 7-cost Olden. But that's the nice thing about Olden is that you can guarantee that it survives on the board basically.
That's true. It was
Yeah.
why this deck was playing this card in order to deal with blue purple Luffy in the past, and I guess that makes the most sense as well.
Yeah, and
Uh,
unfortunately, though, with this Stussy, though, is a big board swing because you're able to develop a character and reduce one of the opponent's big characters. So now Nami, although technically this Olden does have 2 attacks in him, only has 1 big character compared to Supple's 4.
that's true. It is quite a gap that he does have to surmount. Let's see though. These characters are going to be very difficult to remove. Red Rock is an option for Nami. He can still use that to remove the board. Other than that, this Oden does also have that double attack potential, although we'll
Yeah.
need to have a 1 cost on the board in order to use it. There is the Hiyori, so we'll have that can take his own life, draw a card off of the blue yellow Nami leader effect, making this Hiyori effectively a net neutral card. And then after that, can return this Hiyori to his hand with her father's effect, and that would make it a +1. So really, really good synergy here.
Yeah. Um, Not a bad spot. If Nami can keep this Olden alive for a while and just keep bullying who is this again? Prowder with all of these attacks from
Who's
this
this?
Olden. I have to look when I'm looking at my Discord screen, the names aren't there. So I have to check my other monitor. But yeah, he
Yeah.
can potentially just keep bullying him with this 7-cost Olden and just try to finish out the game like he did the game before. But we'll have to see exactly how this game's going to play out because both players' boards are much stronger than they were at this stage last game.
Yeah, especially Prowder's board. And I think the other key thing is the life total difference is huge because the pudding wasn't going to be so crippling for him this time. It did do a lot more work for Prowder, was allowed to stay at a much healthier life total, much healthier hand total.
Yeah. But I mean, this is the nice thing about BO3 that we don't have in the East, unfortunately, is that you can adapt from game 1 to game 2. Prouder being much more conservative with his life and cards in hand to just make sure that that pudding can't find as much value as it wants to.
That's right. That is going to be a big difference maker in this matchup. Let's see how big of a difference it will make, though. It is first going to be that 6k swing. Now it is the 8k swing from the Oden. He does actually take the life going down to 2. Will the Oden use its effect, return this card back to his hand, allow him to get back this 2k counter? You share my keyboard because I'm looking up this Oden card effect since I forgot what it does again.
Eh,
And what
no,
its exact requirements are.
you're good. You need to just rest 3 dong and return one of your own characters,
Uh,
and then it makes him active. And if you were to be removed from the
Right.
battlefield, you can trash 2 cards instead, and that is not once per turn. So very sticky character that can just keep hitting over and over again, does recycle things like that 2-cost Coyote that we saw, and is just going to keep putting a lot of damage into Subble.
That's right. Here's a 9k swing from the Oden again. Block plus 2 will do the trick. But if the remaining 3 Dawn is going to be another play, we can see what is the option. Looks like 1 Dawn is going to be held onto. It might be a counter event. The Waxing Fist is going to protect Sabo from the punch of Oden, the slash of Oden. The 2-cost Nojiko is dropped onto the board not to do any removal but to provide support to her sister and then most likely be returned to hand by Oden the following turn.
Yeah,
The stage now tapped. Another stage is discarded. I've got too much property, too much real estate. I don't need another one. Not something us millennials can say very much nowadays. Here's the 6-cost Sabo though.
just making a huge wall. It's very tricky to say without knowing exactly how many cards are in hand to see which side's actually ahead right now. But uh, one of these leaders, one of these people, need to actually decide if they actually want to go for the opponent's leader or characters and race the opponent or just go for a board and try to slow down the game. So we'll probably start to see from this turn. Yep, there it is. The 2-cost Koala that we were talking about as a potential option the turn before that he did search off the stage is going to now reduce that Olden, deeming to just get rid of that character because that is the #1 threat right now.
It is going to be quite a scary card to deal with, and
And
that is going to be immediately let go of. It's too big of a swing. We're not going to lose our Marco, but Abbster is still at 3 life actually, so still in a pretty decent position.
yeah, I mean, he does have the life, but he does not have the board. Sub, on the other hand, has a massive board, even able to
That's
rest the
right.
blockers now.
That is going to be quite a bit. There is going to be Slave Arrow, actually. That is what the Nojiko was played onto the board for, giving Abbster a way to use that crucial counter event, getting plus 4k onto his 7k base leader as well. Now another 6-cost Sabo is going to make his way onto the board for the side of Prowder. Will get another Dawn onto his leader. There's a 9k swing. That is still going to be another 3k counter required. It's not going to be the case. There's the Kikunojo triggered off of the life. Another 10k swing from the Stussy is going to come in. There's one more Dawn that Prowder can play with, 2 more actually, and none are going to be under the Stussy. And I spoke too soon. There is going to be one. That's a 11k swing, 5k counter required. Is there another trigger? There is not. And Abbster is down to 1 life already.
Yeah, Nami with the insane value play of 3 Dong, go plus 4,000 and reveal the opponent one of the cards in your hand is now in a very dangerous position with only 1 life left, staring down a massive board of cards that are only 8k or higher. So is it going to be
That's
like
a
last game? Is
lot.
Nami going to be able to squeak out a yeah, there is technically speaking, Sabo only has 3 cards in his hand with 2 life, so if Nami can somehow manage to survive this turn and find the damage on board to be able to close out the game after, then maybe there's something, but just the number of blockers that Sabo has on the board makes that very, very difficult.
It is still quite a bit away for the side of Nami. There is going to be a 6k swing, which is going to be blocked by one of the Sabos. There's still one more Sabo available to block. There's so much defense available for Prowder, and there's so little offense available for Abbster. There's not enough attacks. There's not enough power. Here's a 6k swing, which is blocked by Prowder. There is still going to be the Marco, but he has been sitting there doing nothing but watch for the past couple of turns already, just being a wall that has not really done enough protection. Here's the 1-cost Law. Here's the 8 Dawn turn. Here's the 8-cost Kid. He turns, burns, and now there's only 1 life left for Prowder to remove. Leader effect will allow Nami to draw 1 more, and at the end of his turn can do the draw 1, discard 1 with these
Yeah,
2 blockers with the 1 life.
he remembers it this time, so maybe this is going to be something. What's he going to get rid of? Okay, gets rid of a counterless card, so a little bit of value there. And if he can manage to hold on to this turn, which I mean, technically, Prowder doesn't even really need to go for lethal. You could just hit with the characters that aren't blockers and set up for lethal turn after that, and you're still feeling quite comfortable, still having 1 life at your disposal as well. I don't necessarily think that Prowder's under that much threat yet.
That's true. I think it's still quite a bit of time before he's actually in any real danger.
Yeah. And Nami with so many cards in hand, it feels like, although maybe under some circumstance you could have lethal, just the fact that there's two blockers, the elite is going to be 7k, even though he only has one life left, it feels like lethal's still quite far away. So I think that Prowder's probably in a position where he doesn't really want to go for lethal quite yet. Just play it slow, and unlike the game before, he is actually in a position where he is able to do so. Looks like Hyosho died, so that's okay. I'm going to be here for a little bit. It looks like Rene got to him in the end, and
Hiroshisho was
it's going to be
stolen by Rene. Yes, he punched me. He punched me and told me to shut up. I've been talking for too long.
uses the stage
I
to get
was
rid of that
actually
8
yapping,
cost
but
dragon.
muted.
Oh my god, he misses again!
No way!
No, watch him lose by 1k counter again. Well, this
No.
happens though with Subtle because you are forced to run a lot of cards that are things like Stussy, and the one cost Scarp and whatnot. These like small cards, although most of your deck is going to be Revolutionary Army and you should be hitting your stage, there is the chance that you miss it with the amount of times that you end up using it every single game. So unfortunately, is going
Yeah.
to end up missing it. Thankfully, didn't cut a counter this time, and the 8 cost Dragon, because this board's already full, isn't really a card that you're going to actually end up playing. Looks like he maybe 8 dong.
Or maybe a red dragon here to replace the black dragon, going for an upgrade. It does not seem to be the case just yet, though. We're gonna swing 10 with the Stussy, try and force a bit more damage again.
Yeah,
It is
holding on to
going to
information
be
here.
quite a big ask still. This is 6k counter. You haven't used the Nami leader effect yet. So 3 cards. It is gonna be leader effect discarding the slave arrow going up to 7. Here's another 2. Here's another 2. 2 Hioris make its way to the trash. And there's still so many attacks left. Here is now
Yeah.
8 Dawn tapped. It is going to be the Red Dragon, 2 Dawn rested, going to be attached to the leader. And not to mention the 3 Sabo's effects going to trigger, giving another 3 Dawn to the leader as well. Oh my gosh, look at that big ass Sabo. He's going to be a big ass swing as well. But first, the Dragon is going to swing his boss, the chief of the Revolutionary Army, 10k swing.
Yeah, the
What
effective
is
3
Aster's
cost
response?
10,000 rush. Insane card coming out right
Jesus.
now. Just
Rush
so much
Zoro
damage.
who? The
And I don't even know how
3/5
much.
is too OP1.
Yeah, and it seems like he is just going to be setting up to just leave these subbles active, like we were mentioning, just to make it so that there's no chance for Nami to actually win out this game. Even if he gets putting into 5 bricks, the amount of blockers that he has on the board mathematically is just going to be very difficult for Nami to actually get over.
Yeah, but let's remember this is only game 2 of our best of 3. It feels like it's been really long because these games do tend to go for quite a while, but it is
Yep,
still quite a bit more to play out. There is the scoop. We're going to game 3. Prowder
yep.
brings it back with his entire board of Sabos.
Yeah, he knew mathematically in the end there's no way that he could actually have lethal there. He would end up losing on the next turn, so does decide to just scoop, go to game 3, and hopefully, potentially, probably, I would believe, go second and win from that angle.
Yeah, I mean, going second is going to be a big difference maker in this matchup. Nami, of course, does prefer the second curve as well, even without the Shoujo promo. I think wanting to have that Oden plus 1 Don on leader on the 8 Don turn, alternatively, can just drop the 8 cost kit there as well. But we're going to see, actually, he has chosen to go first despite being able to choose. So
Mm.
maybe the preference is actually to go first instead.
Interesting. So this is one of those things, especially with these lesser known matchups, is that there is a lot of player preference involved. You just don't really know exactly what you're supposed to be taking. So maybe Nami thinking that just playing that 7 cost Oden on 7 Dong on curve is going to be the best way that he has at winning this game. And Sabo, the fact that he has chosen to go second in that second game, uh, is thinking that he just wants to play his strongest curve as best as he can. So see in the end who's going to be correct because with this exact side selection, they are 1-1.
Abbster in chat saying he wants to force a pudding. Well, we'll see if that is going to be the case. 8K swing is going to force him to take one more life. He's going to go up to 7 cards in hand. Will go back to his turn, draw for turn again. He does have the option to
Mhm.
play hack this time though, so he can go down to 7 cards only. A pudding would only go -2, but does get rid of all the cards that he has searched already.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, pudding makes things very awkward, awkward for this Sabo leader because your leader is 4K. So, I mean, don't know if he would actually take the bait, but you could technically, go 6K into 4K leader. He takes that second life, and then you devastate his hand with pudding. But we did see that he was able to play around a little bit better the turn before. Is going to play the
That's
Hakke,
true.
see if Nami has that pudding now on this 5 dong turn, which was quite influential in the end on that first game.
That's right, and that is going to be a big difference maker if he does have it. And it looks like there is the 4 Dawn rested. It looks like there is the Charlotte pudding. The
Yeah.
7 card hand is reduced to 5. The searches are now all made redundant, but at the very least, a 6 cost Sabo is in the trash for Prowder. So if he doesn't find that 6 cost Sabo, he can find a dragon next turn instead, and that will be a little bit of a saving grace. Other than that, he does also have a serviceable body on the board already in the form of this 4 cost hack, which is a slight difference from how it was played out the previous games where his 4 on turn was mostly searchers instead.
Yeah, I do have to mention that whenever I play these kinds of decks that are, consistent if you can find your pieces, I just somehow don't find my stage, for example. But, Prowder showing that he's the better Sabo player than me by actually being able to find that stage consistently 3 games in a row. Although this pudding is devastating, is going to reset his hand a little bit. He's going to be able to cycle through his deck with the next coming 6K attack as well as the draw and stage.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of a skill difference between us and people like Prowder. That's why they're here in the Sabaudi Showdown, and it's not
Yeah,
at all just because we are not from the West. But it
yeah.
is what it is. We're gonna see what else happens to be happening in the Sabaudi Showdown final game for today. There is going to be the 6 Kosabo still found for Prowder. He is going to still be very happy to have found that. Not too worried by the pudding, not affected at all. Will still have the hack as well as his leader swing to pressure on Abbster, although Hack only going for a 6K swing will not be able to pressure beyond the leader effect. There is the stage now tapped for Prowder looking for an 8 cost play, does not find it, instead has the Saint Shepherd Jupiter, I mean the PRB O2 Sour.
Yeah, and plays it directly to board, it seems, not putting it into his hand quite yet. Now picks it up. But yeah, Abbster, the very good pudding play there. We'll see. The game before, he was able to play the Red Rock to get rid of that Sabo immediately, and that did make a lot of time and a lot of space for him to actually be able to hit into the opponent. But he also did have that trigger Kikinojo, which he doesn't have this game. So there are a couple of things that are different even from this game to the first game. So we'll see how it's going to start to vary from here on out.
It's true, there's always going to be those little differences in
Uh-oh.
play game to
Oh, this is
game.
six Kaskama. Yeah, so six Kaskama,
Ooh.
a card that has been out for quite a while, but still is a proxy, not even printed out, is going to put him back to 4 life, I believe, maybe even 5. And also is a very annoying on KO effect, so it's going to make it a bit more tricky for Sabo to play out the game that he likes to before in just slowly taking out the board and winning out very methodically.
That's right. It is a very important card that you would hope to have in paper already, whether in cardboard or in printed paper. But we're gonna deal with the proxy. It is what it is. I'm
Yeah.
very familiar with playing with proxies like this. My favorite proxy is when I have new decks and then I have one face down normal card. I have one face down leader card. I have a face down Dawn card. I have a face up Dawn card. Happens a lot. And some of my friends can attest to this. Last time it was buggy, it sounds like, but right now it
Yeah.
is in fact that 6 cost Kuma.
I mean, to be fair, Six Saskama is a quite expensive card, so I can't really blame him. At least on the stream, though, we have some really masterful lifetime editing. We do have that Six Saskama on standby. So, although for our
Yeah,
screen we just see the back of a card, on the stream there's a really high quality image of Kuma.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I hope that it's gonna be consistent. So when Abbster swings, I want to see the Kuma turn sideways. Okay, production,
Oh,
it better follow. Here's the 8 cost Sabo though. 8 cost Dragon will come with the 6 cost Sabo onto the board. Now attaching two rested on to the leader of Prowder will be able to do some more damage. Here's the 8K swing, forcing 2 cards from the hand of the Nami. Instead, it is just going to be a take, going to 3 life. He does still have the other Sabo to attack. We will also be able to force another card with the hack if he doesn't want to swing the Sabo just yet. Let's see what Prowder decides on. How much pressure is he willing to give? How much blockers is he willing to turn in order to get the pressure that he's looking for?
yeah, and I believe that Nami actually is at 4 life now, because of that heal. He didn't actually take a life before, I believe, so still is very, very healthy right now, with that Kuma on the board as well. So, just see how he
You're
plays out
right.
these next couple of turns, yeah. And Sabo, a deck that we don't see too much in OP13, but it is quite strong. It's just one of those decks that's does one thing very well, very consistently, as we've seen him successfully pull off this Sabo into Dragon into Sabo play 3 games in a row. And we're just seeing how powerful this can be if you can
This
manage to pull it
Kuma
off.
does turn sideways, block +1 for the side of Prowder. Fantastic editing work. I even saw the little micro
Insane
adjustment,
production
moving it to
value.
the bottom a little bit. Very good production. Japanese OP stream, please learn from the Sabaudi Showdown. There's now another 8K swing from the Blue Yellow Nami leader, and this could easily be blocked by the Sabo +1K, or he could even block with the hack. But it looks like it is just going to be PRB Sabo now used to block as well. Now a 7K swing from the side of the Charlotte Pudding. This is going to be 2 more K counter required for Prowder to get out of this swing. He really wants to stay as healthy as possible. But this also means that this entire turn, Abbster has not developed a body onto the board. So not any improvements from his board state. And next turn, this could be disastrous for him since Prowder can develop something as powerful as the 8 cost Red Dragon. Here's the Hiyori now going to be used to take and set the life, and that will be the way that he does end up developing his board, most likely setting a Kiku no Jo to the top of his life here.
Yeah, it does seem like the most likely card that he has put into his life. You'll have to see what that ends up actually being. But this Coyote in a lot of decks would just end up becoming a dead card. But thankfully in this deck, he has lots of ways to get it back into his hand. He has consistently been using that Slave Arrow as well. So we have to assume that this Coyote isn't actually going to stay on the board for very long.
That's true, but remember that Hex block can also target the Hiyori in the following turn. So if Abbster isn't careful, he may not get the use out of that he initially wanted. Here's the Stasi now discarded for Prowler, and he's now staring at a upgraded alternate art Kuma instead. Fantastic. He's is magical. He's managed to change his back of a card into an alternate art $60 card. Here's one Don onto the Koala will be used to trade into the Charlotte Pudding 4K swing. He is now going to swing with the Black Dragon 9K into the Bartholomew Kuma. The alternate art now leaves the board. Sorry, the proxy has left the board. The alternate art is still on the board, but is no longer there. Aster gets the heal once again, goes all the way out to 5 life again. And there is
Oh,
another blocker Sabo on the board. 3 more Restodon are going to be attached to the leader. This hack has been standing there watching as the number of Sabos beside him continue to multiply with the Shadow Clone Jutsu, but he has not been able to put in any work just yet. As one of the members of the Revolutionary Army, there is going to be one Don finally attached to him. There he goes.
oh, it
7K
goes for the
swing
attack.
turned sideways.
It
Fishman
does something.
Karate.
The
One
7K
of the
swing from Hack
dominants
is
now.
going to break through one of the many life that Nami has, is going to trigger out that Hiyori that was likely planted the turn before. Nami still has a lot of life, a lot of cards in hand as well. But Prowder just consistently able to get out all of these Sables. I wish I could do this every single game.
Yeah, I mean this deck when you can go like this, you can go really crazy, but it's just you don't really get to go like this very often, do you? So it is going to be
Oh,
still really good. And there's the scoop it out already, I think.
yeah, it looks like it. I think, I mean, looking at his hand, he does have that 8 cost kid, can get rid of 1 life, but, Sabo is one of those decks where I think that if you can get to this point, it feels like you can beat a lot of decks in the meta. So, it seems like Prowder is able to pick up that this last game, And thankfully, a 10-minute match, um, because I was noticing that this is a very, very long best of three.
Yeah, it was. I think this was the longest of the three games. It definitely was a long dragged out game. I mean, how often do you see Sabo with three Sabos on the board? It's really, really uncommon game state, not because of the unlikelihood or the consistency of the deck, but more because just games usually end by this point. So really good long game for both players. 1 full hour is going to be the time that it takes for Sabo to prove that he is worthy of that second in command title and taking a win versus Abbster in the Sabaudi Showdown.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised how consistent this Sabo deck is. It's just that unfortunately some of the matchups, despite playing your best moves, isn't always going to be in your favor, which is why you don't actually see this deck as much. But yeah, he showed off how consistent and how powerful this deck can be. I guess not only in the right hands, but also just finding the cards in the end, just playing them correctly is going to be enough in this matchup.
Yeah, I think all of that is, of course, really cool. We are going to see more of the Sabaudi Showdown in the future. But for today, that was all from Kai and I believe, unless Renee is going to lock us back in the basement
Yeah,
until we cast next week.
I'll put you back in the basement. No, thank you for being here. Was
It was a pleasure, as
hopefully it was
always.
fun.
My manager will be speaking to you about better appearance fees in the future.
Yeah, for everyone that's in chat, make sure to check out Kai and Hiro's YouTube channel. It's on the pinned comment. If you wanna shout out any more social media, go ahead.
Shout out to Kai, I Color Kai on YouTube, on X, and I don't think any other platforms.
Uh, yeah, maybe.
Also,
I'm not
Metafy,
very good at.
.gg/I Kai.
Yeah, hold on. Let me pull up Prowder. As it wasn't me forgetting his name. I just didn't want to call him the wrong one because I knew it was Prowder and Abbster, and I forgot which one was which.
who's this guy?
Bro, it's 170,000 subscribers. Who is this clown? Who is this nobody? 560 videos. Jesus.
But yeah,
Oh, this is the guy I see on TikTok when people are doing, can Mario make this jump?
yeah, it's literally that. Yeah, it's literally him.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my god.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
no,
actually
he's
Prowder.
famous.
It's actually Prowder. It's not Prowder. His katakana is there. It's Prowder. We've been saying it wrong the whole time.
No, I
Yeah,
didn't know
is that
either. He probably doesn't
I
know
mean,
either.
yeah, I think that's probably just a translation error. Uh,
Google
we
translated his name
we fixed
instead
his
of
name.
asking a Japanese person.
We
Yeah, you
fixed his
gotta
name.
change it to Ao Rao. It's wrong
yeah,
since the beginning.
At least he
it,
stuck
it
to
it
it.
it would end up yeah, you would read that as Proder.
Oh my god. What?
But yeah.
Yeah, but the image is who can do it. Final Smash versus 6-7. God damn. I don't want to subscribe anymore. The stream isn't
Wait, hold
seeing
on.
any of this, by
No,
the
no,
way.
no.
No one is seeing Final Smash versus 6-7?
Wait, that's
There's
so
podcast.
funny. No, he
Can we
has
do that?
multiple six
Oh
seven
my god, he has
videos.
multiple. Who can 6-7?
This turned into a Prowder stream real quick.
Oh man. There are
This
many
is really fun.
Japanese viewers telling me that. That's great. Oh, anyone here know format of Worlds or is it unrevealed still? I don't know. I think they're gonna be playing One Piece card game, but I'm not sure. Can someone confirm?
Should be OP. I mean, if you go by history, it should be OP 13, but I doubt they will do that because it was always the anniversary set, right? But now the anniversary set dropped so early.
That's true.
Did you guys make a fake OnlyFans?
What?
Is this no, this I see a OnlyFans link to QD Kai and I was like, wait, hold on.
I'm not gonna click that link.
Yeah, no, it doesn't lead to anywhere. I need to make sure
Okay.
because I have
Well,
accidentally leaked feet here and there, and people have screenshotted it.
oh yeah. I'm guilty. Guilty as charged. I have a phone. I'm saving it for when Kai gets 100,000 subscribers, and then I can finally blackmail him with all of his feet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. Just post it.
You
You
want
can't
it, don't
blackmail me.
you? Want it. You want it posted. I know you. I know what
Mhm.
kind of person you are.
I mean, if it gets engagement, I'll sell my feet pics. Sure. Are we
Yeah.
still live?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure it's still
Okay,
live.
that's a good clip. Yeah, but yeah, I was looking for a channel to raid. For me, while you exposed yourself, your true nature. But yeah,
Yeah,
thanks
we're
for
good.
being here. I found
Yeah.
there's not
Happy
many
to
One
happy to
Piece
have Kai and Barrett
channels
and
live
stuff.
right now.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm going to go to sleep soon and go to work tomorrow. So it was a lot of fun on
Yeah.
a Sunday night. And have a nice rest of the day to you, Rene, of course, and also anyone who's watching.
Yeah. But not
Bye
me.
bye.
Fuck me, am I right?
Yeah, yeah.
Bye
Fuck you.
everyone.
But
Bye everyone. Thank you for coming to the Sabaldi Showdown. We'll see you in 2 whenever. Bye bye.
bye bye.